To March 17, 2023, a baseball stadium erupts as rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine waves a Mexican flag, taunting angry Puerto Rican fans. He thought it was just a game. But the backlash became deadly serious. He had pissed off violent cartels, and they came for him. Here are 6 times cartels messed with the wrong rappers.
He just made history as the first Mexican star to perform at the VMAs. Now, Peso Pluma is being threatened by a Mexican cartel.
It was a moment of triumph. A young artist from Guadalajara standing tall on the VMA stage. His music blasting across the world. Just 24 years old, Peso Pluma had become the face of a new Mexican sound. Peso Pluma, born Hassan Emilio Cabandelaya, didn't just play music. He carried the weight of a dangerous legacy. His song celebrated a world few dare to mention, filled with forbidden names and coded praise for cartel leaders. The corridos he sang weren't just stories. They were battle hymns in an ongoing war. As his fame exploded, so did the risks. The young star had always known the game he was playing. Every lyric about El Chapo Guzman was a nod to power and a challenge to rivals. In his massive hit Siempre Pendientes, he didn't just sing about loyalty. He showed it, declaring his role as protector of the powerful Guzman family. The message was clear, and so were the targets on his back. Just days after his historic VMA performance, the threats became real. 4 banners appeared across Tijuana, each one a death sentence. From the CJNG, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, rivals to the Sinaloa family Peso Pluma praised.
Saying, quote, "This goes to Peso Pluma. Refrain from presenting yourself on October 14th because it will be your last show due to your disrespect and loose tongue," end quote.
The CJNG controls the city's stage, and they don't tolerate rival tributes. Peso Pluma was caught between fame and fear. His music career is now a matter of life and death. He didn't respond publicly, but his actions spoke volumes.
And he was supposed to perform at the Rosemont Theater this evening, but public death threats were posted in spots around Tijuana earlier this week, leading Pluma to postpone concerts. His stop at Rosemont is now rescheduled for October the 29th.
The stakes weren't just about one show. The CJNG's reach was clear. They could strike anywhere, even in American cities. Fans who bought tickets suddenly faced an empty stage, replaced by the cold reality of cartel power. And the drama played out across social media and news headlines. Some called it censorship. Others saw it as the price of artistic freedom. But those who understood Mexico's shadow world knew better. This was more than music. This was a declaration of war between rival empires. Yet even as the threats mounted, Peso Pluma's music kept spreading. In his world, words have weight measured in bullets. Each verse about Guzman was a victory for Sinaloa and a direct insult to Jalisco. The stage had become a battlefield, and Peso Pluma was both a soldier and a target. But this isn't just one artist's story. It's the tale of a genre that refuses to die, even as bodies pile up. Narco corridos have always walked the line between art and war. Now, with Peso Pluma at the center, that line has become a razor's edge.
And I'm very grateful for the genre that I do. It's going global and it's breaking barriers. And I'm just thankful for all the people that supporting the Mexican music.
Peso Pluma's voice may be silenced in Tijuana, but his message echoes across borders. The battle between art and power continues, and he's become the face of resistance, whether he wants it or not. Today, he's more popular. His music has also continued to find new audiences across both Mexico and the United States. This is perhaps the biggest blow he could ever give to the cartel threatening him. But if you think this story is intense, wait until you see what happens when the next rapper decides to go to war with gangs from another country. March 17, 2023. Tekashi 6ix9ine stands in the crowd of the World Baseball Classic quarterfinals, waving a Mexican flag. Suddenly, drinks and objects start flying his way. Security scrambles as fans hurl insults and beer cans. This wasn't just about baseball. For 6699, it marked the beginning of a violent backlash that would follow him across continents. Born Daniel Hernandez in 1996, Tekashi 6699's rise from Brooklyn's Bushwick neighborhood to global infamy was anything but ordinary. Raised by a single Mexican mother after his Puerto Rican father left, Tekashi built his brand on controversy, chaos, and clashing identities. His rainbow hair, face tattoos, and aggressive music made him a viral sensation, but also a target. The trouble started brewing long before that baseball game. 6699 had spent years antagonizing gangs, law enforcement, and entire communities with his reckless behavior. His decision to cooperate with authorities against the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods in 2019 earned him a reduced prison sentence and a permanent place on multiple hit lists. But at the World Baseball Classic, he crossed a new line. Despite his Puerto Rican heritage, 6699 publicly disavowed his father's side, declaring himself 100% Mexican and waving the Mexican flag in front of thousands of Puerto Rican fans. The crowd's reaction was immediate: boos, middle fingers, and a barrage of drinks. Security quickly relocated him, but the damage was done.
Ahora.
No me importa.
Okay.
No me importa. Mi mamá me crió mexicana.
Pero tú triunfaste en la vida, ¿no?
¿Qué? What's triunfar?
¿Con tu papá o sin tu papá?
Mi mamá me crió mexicana.
His public rejection of Puerto Rico sent shockwaves through both communities. Puerto Rican fans called for boycotts. Social media exploded with memes and threats. But the real danger came from powerful organizations watching quietly. Rumors spread that Mexican cartels had issued a warning. If anything happens to Tekashi 69 while in Puerto Rico, there will never be another Puerto Rican artist performing in Mexico ever. The stage was set for violent consequences. Then, one day, it all came to a head at a gym in Florida. 6699, believing he could move freely with his newfound protection, walked into an LA Fitness in Palm Beach alone. 3 men, Rafael Medina Jr., Octavius Medina, and Anthony Maldonado, were waiting. Security footage shows the brutal ambush in the gym's steam room.
That's crazy! That's crazy!
The rapper, whose real name is Daniel Hernandez, was allegedly attacked after getting out of the sauna. At the time, his security was not with him.
And the footage of the beating quickly went viral. Bystanders recorded the aftermath as 6699 stumbled out of the gym, bloodied. Some cheered, others mocked, but the message was clear. No amount of fame or bravado could protect him. Within hours, authorities arrested the 3 attackers. Their mugshots flashed across news stations, but many believed they were just pawns in a larger game. The assault was seen as a warning shot, a public demonstration that no one, not even high-profile celebrities, could disrespect entire cultures without consequences.
The suspects accused of beating rapper Tekashi 69 in a Palm Beach gym just a couple of weeks ago. On your screen right now, this is Anthony Maldonado, Rafael Medina, and Octavius Medina, the rapper.
Sign's response was predictable. More bravado, more social media posts, more taunting. But behind the scenes, his security detail doubled. Every public appearance became a calculated risk. He canceled shows, changed phone numbers, and moved between safe houses. The cost of his safety skyrocketed, eating into his already dwindling fortune. The public reaction was divided. Some saw him as a victim of his own arrogance. Others viewed the attack as justified consequences for years of disrespect. But one thing was clear: his days of moving freely were over. Today, Tekashi 69 lives in constant caution. The World Baseball Classic incident wasn't just about sports. It was a tipping point in a life defined by controversy, defiance, and dangerous alliances. But 6699 has since continued to be vocal, arrogant, and undefeated. This was not at all what the gangs after him had in mind. Eventually, they would realize they messed with the wrong rapper who would still not keep his mouth shut. March 8, 2023, an American rapper posted a video that would shock her fans and expose the brutal reality of cartel control in Mexico. Chameleon, a rising star from Jacksonville, Florida, never expected her vacation to turn into a nightmare. Born as Alja Jackson, she built her career on raw talent and resilience. Known for her aggressive style and infectious energy, she quickly climbed the ranks in the rap world. But nothing prepared her for what happened south of the border. Her trip began like any other rapper's getaway: luxury, adventure, and a little bit of business. But as her entourage traveled through cartel-controlled territory, everything changed. Armed men stopped their vehicle, and what happened next was caught on camera.
Drugs in there, sir. Pesos? That's all. $1,500? OMG. I don't have. That's my. I don't have any drugs, so I can give you what I have. I don't have any.
Chameleon later reflected, "They said they were taking us away if we didn't pay. Scary stuff." She emphasized she had no drugs, no weapons, just money for her trip. But to the cartel, that made her a target. The ordeal didn't end there. The cartel slashed the tires of her vehicle, making escape even more impossible. Chameleon realized too late that staying in an isolated Airbnb made them easy prey. She later warned others, "Don't stay in an Airbnb. Stay somewhere that's in a developed community. Because our was in an Airbnb. The streets weren't even paved where we was staying at." Back home, Chameleon shared the harrowing footage on Instagram. The rap community responded with shock and relief. Houston MC Just Britney commented, "I'm trembling watching this video and I'm so thankful you made it out." While others shared similar stories of being hustled or threatened in Mexico, Chameleon's experience became a warning for other artists and tourists. She emphasized, "Police cartel is different. Shit, crazy. I was told they are associated with the cartel and kidnap tourists and extort money." Her message was clear. This wasn't just a random mugging, but a well-organized criminal enterprise. The timing of Chameleon's incident was chilling. It happened just days after 4 Americans were kidnapped in Matamoros by the Gulf Cartel, a tragedy that ended with 2 dead and 2 injured. Chameleon's ordeal exposed the harsh reality that even fame offers no protection in cartel territory. Her story went viral, sparking conversations about tourist safety and the true reach of organized crime. She made one thing clear: "I'm never going to Mexico again. Literally my worst trip ever." The incident didn't make headlines in traditional media, but it spread like wildfire on social platforms. Chameleon's raw footage and honest account became a stark warning for anyone thinking of traveling to cartel-controlled areas. Her brave decision to share the footage likely saved lives. Fans and fellow artists took notice, spreading her warning far and wide. It wasn't just about the money. They wanted to send a message that no one is untouchable. But Chameleon was braver, and the cartels realized she wasn't that easy to intimidate or silence. As Chameleon put it, "Seeing the tragedies unfold in the media when I came back of people being killed, I feel so blessed. I'm never going to Mexico again."
All that fake narratives that the internet's portraying, they're just getting a lot of people into trouble that has nothing to do with your boy, has nothing to do with me. Crazy.
December 2022, Swifty Blue, real name Nelson Abrego, found himself suddenly facing a deadly threat. The Mexican Mafia, one of the most powerful prison gangs in America, had put him on their green light list. That meant open season. Anyone connected to the organization had permission to take him out, no questions asked. Swifty Blue was a well-known rapper, popular on social media. But what set him apart was how he navigated the complex world of street politics. Born and raised in Los Angeles, he understood the delicate balance between credibility and exposure. The streets respected him, but his growing online presence brought attention, and not all of it positive. Throughout 2022, Swifty found himself caught between 2 worlds. On one hand, he kept his code of silence, refusing to speak on certain matters. But on the other hand, his rising profile made him a target for both clout chasers and legitimate threats. The tension between his public persona and private reality grew with every post and every stream. By late December 2022, the situation reached a breaking point. The Mexican Mafia, a group notorious for controlling prison politics and street operations, decided Swifty had crossed a line. Their code wasn't just about what you did inside. It extended to how you conducted yourself outside, especially in the public eye. Swifty's social media activity became both a lifeline and a liability. He knew people were watching, some to support, others to harm. The same platforms that built his career now became tools for his enemies to track his every move. One Mexican Mafia associate even followed his family, trying to locate him through his online posts. The green light was official. A high-ranking Mexican Mafia member made the call. Suddenly, Swifty wasn't just a rapper. He was a marked man. The conspiracy to kill him wasn't limited to the streets. It stretched from the prison system to the Los Angeles County Jail, involving both incarcerated shot callers and associates on the outside. But Swifty understood the game. He'd survived long enough to know the rules and when to break them. His response wasn't what anyone expected. Instead of going underground, he went public with his warning about internet culture. He started calling out the dangerous games people played online, knowing full well the consequences.
The internet gave everybody a voice. The same internet that getting everybody cut up. Y'all got me f***ed up. Dead homies.
Every post, every comment, every video could be used against you in ways most people couldn't imagine. The conspiracy against him wasn't just talk. Mexican Mafia associates actively tried to find and kill him. The threat was real, immediate, and relentless. Then came the turning point. Swifty was arrested and ended up in the Los Angeles County Jail, the exact place his enemies controlled. Inside, the Sureños, or soldiers of the Mexican Mafia, attacked him. He barely survived, ending up in the hospital for treatment. But surviving the first attempt didn't mean he was safe. When the shot callers learned he survived, the plan escalated. They began coordinating a new attack, a more careful, calculated effort to finish what they'd started. But fate intervened. Swifty was released from jail before they could strike again. And now back on the outside, the hunt continued. Mexican Mafia associates kept following him on social media, trying to pinpoint his location. The very platforms that made him famous now became tools for his enemies to track him.
Niggas get caught up for talking on the phones. Oh, Swifty telling. You do I look like I was talking to a informant? You got me fucked up. Crack.
Through it all, Swifty maintained his code. He refused to speak on certain matters, even as rumors swirled about him, telling. His integrity became both his shield and his weakness. The street code of silence protected him, but it also limited his ability to defend himself publicly. The stakes kept rising. By June 2025, law enforcement had arrested 19 members or associates of the Mexican Mafia connected to the plot against Swifty. But one key player, Joshua Ewan, remained at large. A reminder that the threat wasn't over.
That's different though. You got 15 people that sat here and threw rocks at me. I'm picking up all the rocks they threw and throwing them right back. So that's all it is. But you know G never dissed.
Throughout this ordeal, Swifty became a living example of how street codes and social media collide. His story isn't just about one man's survival. It's a warning to anyone who thinks they can play both sides. The internet might give everyone a voice, but it also creates permanent records that can be used against you in ways most people can't imagine.
Diss me first. Oh. I picked them up from prison in a Maybach. I let him hold my pistol. I put my chain on his neck.
The betrayals weren't just from enemies. Swifty detailed how he helped people, like picking up Cito from prison in a Maybach, only to be dissed later. However, Swifty is still standing, and he isn't backing down even with the cartel threats and mission to kill him.
Of Javier Rosas, a well-known singer from Mexico who was ambushed in his car and shot 6 times.
March 22nd, 2015, a white SUV crashed into a shopping mall parking lot in Culiacan. Gunshots still echoing through the air. Inside was Javier Rosas, a rising star of Mexico's controversial narco corrido music, clinging to life after being shot 6 times. Javier Rosas, born in Culiacan, Sinaloa, was quickly becoming a sensation in the regional Mexican music scene. His band, La Artilleria Pesada, played songs that glorify the exploits of drug traffickers, often featuring graphic violence and criminal themes. Rosas' breakthrough hit, La China, praised a high-heeled female crime boss, showcasing the genre's fascination with cartel culture. By 23, he was touring internationally, earning awards and building a massive following in northern Mexico and beyond. As Rosas' fame grew, so did the controversy surrounding his music. His videos often featured high-powered weapons and luxury vehicles, the same symbols of power used by the cartels he sang about. The genre's popularity soared, despite many Mexican states banning public performances of narco corridos. But these bans were rarely enforced, and Rosas continued to perform for packed crowds, often in cartel-controlled territories.
Which, as you pointed out, is a place where a lot of these cartels got started. And he was driving in an SUV with his driver and two others, including his cousin, who was actually killed in the attack.
Gunmen armed with AK-47s ambushed Rosas' white SUV in broad daylight, chasing him through the streets of Culiacan. The vehicle crashed into a pole near a shopping mall. Rosas and one passenger managed to escape, running into the mall for safety. But two others, his cousin and the driver, were killed in the assault. The scene was chaotic, with dozens of bullet holes marking the vehicle and bodies lying in the parking lot.
Really the very same kind of guns that appear in some of Rosas' own musical videos.
Rosas was rushed to the hospital, critically wounded with 6 bullet holes, 3 in his legs, 2 in his abdomen, and 1 in his arm. He underwent emergency surgery and spent days in intensive care, losing significant blood. The attack sent shockwaves through the music community, showing the dangers of performing narco corridos. Aftermath.
So that the Mexican government decided to take note, and they recently created a subdivision in the National Security Ministry to address this problem of the narco corridos.
The investigation revealed little about the attackers or their motives. Some believed it was retaliation from rival cartel factions angered by Rosas' songs about their enemies. Others thought it was a warning to all narco corrido singers. The attack occurred during a spike in Sinaloa violence, including the assassination of local police chiefs. Against all odds, Rosas survived and began his long recovery. 1 year after the shooting, he made a triumphant return to the stage.
He left his dressing room for the stage and sang like a fish in water for more than an hour and a half without showing any pain, singing his famous corridos from La China to Chapo Guzman.
I see that you arrived at the nightclub tonight well protected, with security. It still brings security to this day.
Of course.
Ocas Rosas now travels with a permanent security detail, aware that the threat remains ever present. His return to performing came with strict safety protocols, both for himself and his band. The shooting forced him to reconsider the risks of his musical choices, but he remained committed to his art. The attack took a heavy personal toll. Rosas lost loved ones in the shooting and still carries the physical and emotional scars.
This, in my mind, my greatest charm is my 2 boys who are in heaven, who if I hadn't happened here would be behind this camera. I see that you have a rosary there with you too. A rosary, if I confess to you, the network was also carrying this rosary the day of the incident.
Rosas' story became a flashpoint in the ongoing debate about narco corridos. The Mexican government created special subdivisions to address the genre's negative influence on society. Critics compared the situation to gangster rap in the United States, questioning the balance between artistic expression and public safety.
No doubt that Javier Rosas returned stronger than ever, ready to make up for lost time and the place he left behind in the grupero world.
Javier Rosas' return to the stage shows that even in the face of overwhelming danger, the music sometimes plays on. February 27, 2015. The stage in Hidalgo del Parral, Chihuahua, is brightly lit, the crowd energized, and Alfredo Olivas stands center stage with his accordion. The young singer had just dedicated a romantic song to a woman in the front row. What happened next would change his life forever. Alfredo Olivas was a rising star in regional Mexican music, known for blending traditional corridos with modern romantic styles. Just 22 years old, he was already making waves on the charts and accumulating millions of YouTube views. Olivas represented a new generation of Mexican artists, talented, ambitious, and seemingly unstoppable. But success in this world often comes with dangerous attention. The concert in Chihuahua started like any other. Olivas performed his hits, engaged the crowd, and kept the energy high. As the night progressed, he noticed a young woman in the front row. Moved by the moment, he dedicated a song to her, a seemingly innocent gesture. But in this world, even small actions can have deadly consequences. The woman's boyfriend became furious at the attention, left his seat. Moments later, gunshots shattered the celebration. 7 rang out, 2 striking Olivas. The crowd panicked, the band scattered, and chaos erupted. Olivas collapsed on stage, still clutching his accordion. The audience screamed, scrambling for cover as the gunman continued firing. The videos capture the raw panic. Despite being shot twice, Olivas survived. The attacker and his accomplice were quickly arrested, ending the immediate threat but leaving lasting trauma. Security at concerts across Mexico tightened overnight. Artists realized that even friendly gestures could provoke deadly responses. Another shocking fact was when rumors spread that some Mexican cartels may have been behind the attack on Olivas. These must have been cartels who felt offended by his music.
It was Saturday when Alfredo Olivas' relatives were shot, allegedly from 2 different vehicles while traveling on this road. The vehicle driven by the singer's brother crashed into a retaining wall.
But the violence didn't end there. Years later, tragedy struck Olivas' family directly. His brother Irving, sister-in-law, and infant nephew were murdered in Zapopan, Jalisco. Their SUV, riddled with bullets, crashed after being attacked by 2 vehicles.
The singer went to the funeral home and asked to enter and exit through the back for security reasons.
Olivas attended the funeral under heavy security, the pain etched on his face. The private ceremony was held behind closed doors, a somber reminder of the risks faced by public figures in Mexico.
It is expected that tomorrow, Tuesday, at the usual press conference of the Jalisco prosecutor, more progress will be made on what happened and who could be behind this multiple homicide.
Today, Olivas continues to perform, but every show carries the weight of these tragedies. His music resonates with millions, but the scars remain, both physical and emotional. However, the important thing is that Olivas is still standing, tall and proud, and looks like whoever those attackers were, they messed with the wrong person.